Hey, this is Matt from Speedscale, and in this brief video, I'm going to show you some of the interesting and unusual things that you can do with next-generation observability that you can't do when you're using a system that only focuses on telemetry. Let me explain. So, most observability tools collect things like logs, metrics, and traces. In other words, they grab events that describe what happened. Now, the way Speedscale works is a little bit different. Speedscale records the actual data going in and out of the application, so it gets a full fidelity picture of not only what was being requested of your service, but also how it was dependent on other services. And that's full fidelity, so you can do a full reproduction. But let me show you some of the basic things you can do just from observability. So I'm going to assume that you watched one of our other videos where we installed ProxyMock, which is a free tool that allows us to perform these tasks, and you also have a Speedscale account, which is also free setup. Now, I'm going to start off in one of my pre-recorded demo scenarios called Node Auth to show you a few of the things that you can do. Now, unlike some of your other observability tools, like some of your other observability tools, we have here a list of recorded transactions. Now, this can be done retroactively, or you can go and do it like a live tail. But each one of these presents me with a Postman-like interface where I can go and see all the request and response information that was in here. And don't worry, these are all this is all fake data, so nobody's username is getting passed out. But I can get the request, the response, and more importantly, I can get the actual bodies from these things. Now, that's very different than what you get with OpenTelemetry. Now, you might say, if you're like me and you've been doing observability a long time, you might say, well, I can go and embed my log lines or all the useful data into my logs and my OpenTelemetry spans. To which I say, sure, if your app has all of that, good luck, and also you're chewing up a ton of data and your log expenses are out of control, but by all means, enjoy yourself if you have the discipline to go do that. But for lazy people like me, I'm going to use eBPF and I'm going to record this stuff off the wire. So, I have all this information. Let's say, for instance, that I'm hunting a particular user because something went bump in the night in this large list of transactions. The first thing I can do with a modern observability tool is I can do a full text search that will hunt for anything I type in any field, in any request, anywhere. So, what I'm doing here is I typed in admin, because that's the user I'm searching for, and I see that there are 13 places where admin shows up in my traffic. Now, the first one is in this username on the OAuth token, which kind of makes sense. As I click next here in my find window, I can see, read write admin. Oh, that's kind of a different usage of it, and that's again on the OAuth token. I can see that it's used in a URL. I can see that it's used inside of a JSON payload. I can see that it is used in a bunch of different places. So that's step one, is I can actually do just a full text search, and I don't have to know ahead of time what to put in my log lines. Okay, second thing that I can do is I can actually dive in and do a type of observability that is a lot more sophisticated than you might be used to. I can actually look for various patterns like PII information, which means credit cards, social security numbers, etc. And using the same kind of mechanism, I can say identify PII, and ProxyMock will walk through all of my traffic and say, I think I recognize a credit card somewhere in here. I think I see a phone number. I see an email, etc., and it will hop across all traffic. Now, when I say all traffic, you might think I mean just like curl statements and HTTP transactions. I actually mean Postgres, I mean MySQL, I mean gRPC. All these binary protocols, Speedscale's put the work into decoding them into JSON so that you can go and search across them. So that's number two, is I can find the PII that might be leaking from my environment and where it's hidden. Okay, now the last thing I want to show off is a little bit less obvious, which is I want to go and find out wherever credentials are used. Now, what does credentials mean? Well, it could mean a JWT or JOT. It could mean username and password used through basic authentication. Could be all those things. So when I run the replace credentials workspace, I'm going to go and select, or automation, I'm going to go and select how I want to find all this. And then I'm going to get what's called a data frame that shows me everywhere in my traffic, all the users and all of the passwords that are used here so that I can quickly replace them. So let's say I want to go and turn this recording into a testing scenario. Well, I can go and find out all my things I don't want to actually use, like my production usernames, and I can go and replace those on the fly with test data so I can safely transport this. Now, there's many other use cases and other kinds of things that we can do with next generation observability, but here's something to just get you started. If you'd like to learn more, click on the description below and look through our other videos for other cool ideas about how to make your software development safer.